You don't want to say, oh, I'm doing a 20% ratio for savings, and then knowing fully well that your income right now cannot handle that, and then it's mid-month and whatever it is that you have saved is now starting to save you. Hi, I'm Olushewa. Welcome back to my channel. First of all, I want to say thank you to everyone who supported my first video. Your comments, your likes, your subscriptions, your sharing. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. They're all appreciated. And if this is your first time here, I am Olushewa. I am navigating life in my 20s and having fun while I'm at it. So if you're not too busy, join me. So I feel like there's a hush hush culture that we have when it comes to money and personal finance. And it's very amazing to me because money and finance is a very, very big part of everybody's lives. Like your personal lives, your relationships with people, it's a very, very big part. So I wonder why we pretend to ignore it and just like try to put it under the table. Anyway, today I'll be talking about my personal finance journey as a girl in my 20s, and the three major parts of this will be budgeting, saving, and investing. So let's start with budgeting, right? I feel like budgeting is the very, 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 very major part when it comes to personal finance, because I mean that's where you're going to take out your money that you want to use to invest or save or whatever. So budgeting is very important. And I think the most common rule for budgeting is the 50/30/20 rule. And I like to say that this rule can be tweaked to whatever works for you. So the 50/30/20 rule is basically saying that 50% of your income should go into your needs. So your house rent, electricity bill, food, and all of those things. And then 30% should go into your wants and 20% into your savings and or investment. Now, I personally think that this can be tweaked depending on your own situation. For example, I still live with my parents, so I don't have to worry about rent and food. I mean, I do spend a lot of money in food, but those are more wants than needs, if you get what I'm saying, because I'm mostly talking about restaurant meals and those kind of things. So if this is your case, you could expand your ratio for savings and investments, and also expand your ratio for wants. And any which way, depending on the situation in your life, you could switch up that rule. The important thing, and the most important part of investing or saving or your financial journey is consistency. So whatever you're going to do, just make sure that it's something that you can be consistent with. You don't want to say, oh, I'm doing a 20% ratio for savings, and then knowing fully well that your income right now cannot handle that, and then it's mid-month and whatever it is that you have saved is now starting to save you. So make sure that whatever it is that you're doing is sustainable, is practical, and as you grow, it would also grow. Ideally, though, I feel like your needs should actually not exceed that 50%. So if you know that your needs are currently above 50% of whatever it is that you're earning, you're either doing, you're living above your means, you're either living above your means or you're earning too little. So as opposed to living in that nice two-bedroom house in Ikoyi, is it possible that you do it in Magodo instead? Uh, you know, um, Bagada or somewhere else, Yaba instead. So just try to cut down on your needs until it fits into that 50% um, ratio. But if that is absolutely not possible, then you should be looking to increase your income. So find something, find a new job, um, look for a side hustle, whatever it is. Just make sure that you try to get your needs into that 50% ratio. Now, for now, if it's not in that ratio, it's fine, it's okay, you can start where you are. Another tip that I would say about budgeting is make sure that you're budgeting for every single thing. I feel like, especially as someone who is in her 20s, there's a lot of things that I do randomly or on impulse, that I'm just like, it's just 10K, it's just 5K, it's just 2K, it's just 3K. And the thing is, those things actually take up a good chunk at the end of the month. So if you're not careful, those things will be the ones carrying your money away, but you don't consider them significant. So budgeting actually also helps you to see where your money is going, to see what your priorities are. I feel like I don't know where I heard this, but people always say, like, if you want to know what someone's priorities are at that point in their life, just take a look at their expenses. Whatever it is that you are spending more money on is your current priority, or is your current focus in life. And you don't want a situation where you are telling yourself that, oh, my focus is my education, but your expenses are saying a separate thing. Yet your expenses are saying your priority right now is, going out having fun. So make sure that you're budgeting everything. Make sure that you're putting every single thing down. Another thing that I've learned is budgeting for gifts, budgeting for giving. If you're someone who pays black tax is basically someone who is somewhat responsible for their parents, siblings, whatever. Make sure you have a budget for it. And if not, you're just someone who likes to give, especially someone who doesn't really know how to say no to people. First of all, you need to learn how to say no. But make sure you do have a budget, because 2,000 naira here, urgent 3K there, your money is going. Okay, so if your budget for giving in a month is 50,000, once it is exhausted, it is exhausted. Anybody that comes to you with stories that touches the heart, tell them to try again the next month. Have a budget. I know that sounds funny, but it's serious. Have a budget for giving. Okay, now for apps that you can use, I personally do not use any app to budget. I just use an Excel sheet, or I use my phone, the notes app on my phone. However, I've heard of Pocket Guard. I think you can look into it if you want to use an actual application. Whatever works for you, you could do your own little research as well. Now, savings. Okay, so let me even start this section by saying I am not a financial expert. I am not a financial advisor or anything of the sort. So whatever it is that I say here is my own personal experience. So you may or may not decide to take it. And if you do, make sure you do your research first. When it comes to savings, you're either saving for a goal, or you're just saving, uh, which I don't know, depends on you, sure, whatever works. But as a Nigerian who is living in Nigeria, I would not recommend just saving, because unless you're doing it in another currency, of course, because yeah, we all know that naira devalues really quickly, so you don't want to be losing value on that money that you are saving. So first of all, emergency funds, right? Um, you should have an emergency fund, because sometimes you are in a fix, you need money to do something ASAP. Instead of running around, looking for money from friends and family and all of that, you could just have an emergency fund. This would actually also help your investment journey, so that when you have a need for money, you're not just going to quickly liquidate all of your instruments that would probably have made you more money, simply because you have like an urgent need. Okay, so it's good to have emergency funds. Now people recommend that your emergency funds are 3 times your current monthly income. If you can do that, fine. If not, do what works for you. Okay, now saving towards goals. Most of the time, this is a sad reality. It's not funny actually, but it is what it is. When you save towards something in Nigeria, most of the time, by the time you are ready to buy that thing, it's no longer the amount that you have saved for that thing. So say for example, I wanted to buy a car, and in my head at the beginning of the year, I was like, you know what, this car, I've checked it out, I've looked at it, it's 8 million naira. I'm going to save 8 million naira towards the end of the year to buy that car for myself as a Christmas present. By the time it's Christmas, girl, that car is probably going to be 10 million or 9, whatever the case may be. So I would recommend saving in the currency of the thing that you want to buy. So if you want to buy a car, for example, we all know that cars are not, you know, produced here. Like some are produced here, but like the ones that you want to buy are not produced here. The Lexuses and the Benzes and the likes. So they are brought in, right? So make sure that you're looking at the price, if possible, in dollars, and try to save in dollars. If it works for you, good. If not, you could drop it. Okay. If you have, say, certification you want to take, for example, and it's $1,000, make sure that you're saving that money in dollars, because my dear, if you say you want to save it in naira, $1,000 as of today, if naira is 800 naira, could, will be a certain amount. But by the time you want to take or pay for the certification, dollar is now 1,200, and then you're now like in a fix, because what do you do anyway? So those are my own savings advices and saving tips. You could take them, you could drop them, whatever works for you. Okay. I know locally people do things like adjust, saving amongst friends and all of that. You could start there if that's what you want to do. You could start there. The important thing is actually having the habit. It's not the best thing to do, but it helps you build that habit of saving. And that's the most important thing, the consistency. Having that habit in your head, if my salary comes in this month, I'm sending so out into my savings. So yes, it could be a nice way for accountability and to build the habit. However, it's not and should not be a long-term way of saving if you are a Nigerian living in Nigeria. Okay, now for the apps that I use to save, I typically use iInvest to save, but I know there's also Piggyvest, so you could use any of those two. I have used Piggyvest as well, so you could use any of those two if you want. And that leads me to number three, investing. Now for investments, I'll start with the apps. I also use iInvest for investments and Bamboo. Now, when it comes to investment, first of all, I feel like a lot of people believe that you have to have a huge sum of money in order to start investing, and that is wrong. Okay. You could literally start investing with as low as what, 1,000 naira. It just depends on whatever it is that you want to buy. So I invest, for example, has treasury bills, commercial papers for as low as 10,000 naira. I think mutual funds for as low as 5,000. And of course, if you want to buy Nigerian equities, I think the first ever Nigerian equities that I purchased, even though I was just trying it out, but it was probably less than 500 naira, if I remember correctly. So you could buy stuff. You don't have to wait till your money is long. Okay, you could start small, build the habit, like I said, maintain consistency, and eventually it all adds up. And also, when you have the habit already, when you are earning a lot, it's easier. Because let me tell you something, what you didn't start when you had 2 kobo, you are not going to start it when you have 200,000. It's going to be very, very difficult. So start from where you are. It's going to help you a lot. Now, when it comes to investing, I would say first of all, you should know your risk appetite, right? Because that actually determines the kind of stuff that you will buy. You could be a high risk investor, low risk investor, or medium risk investor. I think iInvest also has a small test that you can take to determine what category you fall in. And depending on this, you could decide what to buy. Equities, for example, are higher risk compared to treasury bills and the like. So, you know, that determines what you would be buying more of, because portfolio diversification is very important as an investor. So you don't want to be buying you don't want your portfolio to be filled with high risk all through, or low risk all through, or medium risk all through. So whether or not you're a high risk investor, you will still have low risk investment, just not in the same quantity that a low risk investor would have it, if you understand what I'm saying. So again, portfolio diversification. When it comes to risk, diversify. When it comes to the type of instruments, diversify. When it comes to the sector, so if you're buying equities, for example, you don't want to buy all your equities in the same sector. So you're only buying in telecommunications, or you're only buying in oil or banks. Try to diversify if you can. Yeah, so that's it for investment. I would say that if you want to do US stocks and more, iInvest also has dollar denominated investments, but not as much as Bamboo. So you could try Bamboo. They also have US stocks. So I'll say if you want to dabble into that, you should start with index funds. So those are like the low cost S&P 500s and like the global ETFs. ETFs are exchange traded funds, and they're basically equities from companies put together and then sold in bits. So you could also purchase that. Um, again, do your research. All of these things are just preliminaries, so please do your research before you put your money into anything. Okay. Lastly, I'll speak about rates. I don't know if people call them rates, but I call call it rates. It's REITs. Real estate, real estate investment trusts. Yeah, so that is another way of making money from real estate without actually buying or managing properties, right? So you could look into all of those things just to make sure that you have a diversified portfolio, you have a good portfolio, and just make sure you keep at it. Whatever plan it is that you come up with at the end of the day. So every month you would buy $100 in this, 10,000 naira in this, whatever. Just make sure that you stick to that plan because, like I said, consistency is very, 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 very important. Okay, and when it comes to investing, please don't put yourself in panic mode, especially when it comes to equities or high risk investments, right? Sometimes the market is down, sometimes it's up, whatever it is. If you're a long term investor, don't listen to the noise, just shut it out. If you're a trader, do you can be bothered, but I'm speaking to investing here and not trading. The difference is traders are in the market for a shorter term, investors are in the market for a longer term. So whatever you do, Sha, do your research, please and please. And if you don't want to use any of the apps that I have spoken about here, you could also look for apps that work for you. However, before using any app, please make sure that they are safe and secure. Make sure that the company is regulated, because if they're not regulated by CBN or Securities Exchange Commission, and you put your money and they take it away, I am not involved. Okay, so please stay safe. Um, do your own research. For that, I would say you could buy subscriptions in Money Africa or My Money Start. These are financial educators that I know and that I think I trust. So yeah, you could buy a subscription with them. I think Money Start's one is like 12 to 20K for a year, which is really great. I think it's a great investment. So yes, buy a subscription. If you're not ready to buy a subscription, you could just follow these financial educators on Instagram, on Twitter, whatever it is. I think there's Ibi Yinka, that's Money Star, I think. You could also follow Money Africa, and there's Shola Adeshaki, I think. If I'm not correct, I'm just going to put it on the screen. There is also Wealth Monthly. There is also Ronke or Delmi. There are a lot of them, honestly. So just you could follow those ones that I said. You could look for others, whatever works for you. Okay, please, please, and please make sure that you start a personal finance journey today. Wherever you are, if it's 5K, like I said, if it's 1K, just start and be consistent, and your future self will thank you. So, honorable mention, please invest in yourself, okay, in your personal development and in your growth. Read books, take courses, get certifications, listen to podcasts, watch videos, self-help books, whatever it is that you know that you can do, just do to improve yourself, because remember that you are your biggest asset. Okay, so even on this topic of financial development and personal finance, you could also buy books and listen to podcasts. There's a podcast, Girls That Invest. You can listen to that. There are a few others. There's also books, right? So buy books like The Richest Man in Babylon, those type of books that would help you to understand and to grasp some concepts better, because some things can be simpler when they are put in stories and put in context, right? So whatever it is that you want to do, just do, but make sure that you are improving yourself. Investing money, saving, and all of those things will not count if you're not also improving yourself. So, good luck. I would wrap up by saying be careful and remember that if it's too good to be true, if whatever it is that this investment is offering you seems too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. So, investing is not a Ponzi scheme, it's not a get rich quick scheme, right? Be careful, shine your eyes. All right. So, yes, that brings me to the end of this video. If you have any questions, you have anything to say, just leave me a comment. Also, please like, share, and subscribe, please. All right, see you another time. Bye.